Nowadays, blockchain and cryptocurrencies have become popular and news-making topics in society. The enormous cryptocurrency investments of billion dollars, which are done by world-famous billionaires like Elon Musk, and the number of new cryptocurrencies that adapt to the present market day by day have become the reasons behind this popularity of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Today, in this video, we are going to talk about something which is rarely noticed when it comes to blockchain and cryptocurrencies. They are the ethical issues of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. First of all, before moving on to the ethical issues, let's take a few minutes and get an idea of what cryptocurrencies are and what a blockchain is. First, let's look at cryptocurrencies. Basically, a cryptocurrency is just another currency. This means just like American dollars, Sri Lankan rupees, and Japanese yens, a cryptocurrency is another type of currency in this market. But this is not a physical currency like the other currencies we mentioned before. The phrase "not a physical currency" means that there are no cash or coins when it comes to cryptocurrencies. This is actually an electronic or else a digital currency. One of the main features of cryptocurrencies is that there is no central authority for them. Nowadays, the most popular cryptocurrencies are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, and Litecoin. Now let's see how a cryptocurrency transaction happens. A cryptocurrency transaction starts when one user shares some amount of cryptocurrencies from his wallet to another user's wallet. But even though the sharing happens between those two wallets, the transaction is not completed yet. For the transaction to be completed, it has to be verified. For this verification to happen, a third party is involved. So, this third party is called miners. When it comes to verifying a transaction, miners first check whether there is enough money in the sender's wallet. Then they establish this transaction after a mathematical computation part. Once the verification is done, the miners add the information of this particular transaction to a shared ledger as a new block. This shared ledger or this distributed ledger is called the blockchain. So, along with the time, the transactions which happen are added block by block to this ledger. As I mentioned earlier, a miner has to do a complex mathematical computation to complete a transaction successfully. So, when a transaction is successfully completed, a miner gets a reward. That is how a cryptocurrency transaction happens. Next, we are going to talk about the main features of cryptocurrencies. The first thing is, as we mentioned earlier, there is no central authority to control cryptocurrencies. We say that cryptocurrencies are decentralized. The other main feature is transparency. The shared or the distributed ledger, which we call the blockchain, is visible to everyone in this world. So anybody can go through the blockchain and see the information of the transactions which are recorded there. The third feature of cryptocurrencies is immutability. This is the most important feature among the others. This means that nobody can change the previously added entries of the blockchain as they wish. So, these are the main features of cryptocurrencies. Now let's see why we use cryptocurrencies when there are many other physical currencies already in this world. The first reason is the anonymity of cryptocurrencies. When a crypto transaction happens, nobody gets to know who got involved in this transaction. The identities of both the sender and the receiver are hidden from the others. Also, the users can control cryptocurrencies unlike the other currencies in the world. Moreover, there is no need for transaction money to be paid when making a crypto transaction. When we do a physical money transaction, we have to pay an extra amount as the transaction fee. But when you work with cryptocurrencies, you don't have to make such payments. So, those are the main plus points of cryptocurrencies. Next, we're going to get an idea of what a blockchain is. As I mentioned before, blockchain is simply a distributed ledger where crypto transactions are stored. In this ledger, all the successful transactions are stored block by block. When a new transaction happens, it is added to this ledger as a new block. And the blockchain is immutable, which means it cannot be changed by any user once it's created. Here in this slide, you can see a summary of everything we talked about blockchain and cryptocurrencies up to now. Now we are coming to our main focus today, something which is rarely noticed when it comes to blockchain and cryptocurrencies: the ethical issues of blockchain technologies. Here we are talking about three main ethical issues of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. They are the negative effect on the environment, criminal activities, and the unethical centralized nature. Now let's look at each ethical issue separately. The first one, the negative effect on the environment. I hope you remember that I mentioned earlier that a miner does a complex mathematical computation when verifying a transaction. So these complex mathematical computations consume an enormous computing power. For example, Bitcoin alone used as much power as the entire country of the Czech Republic in 2020. As another example, they have found that a single Bitcoin transaction uses as much power as a US household uses in 22 days. Also, Bitcoin has the same carbon footprint as Azerbaijan. And finally, Bitcoin is responsible for 0.31% of the world's entire electricity usage. Let me highlight that Bitcoin is just one cryptocurrency. There are more than 6,500 cryptocurrencies in existence as of September 2021. So you see, Bitcoin alone has created a considerable amount of negative effect on the environment. What about the other cryptocurrencies? That is what we are talking about here. It is highly effective in the environment. The second ethical issue we are talking about today is criminal activities. We talked before that the users can make transactions using cryptocurrencies without revealing their identities. So, this anonymity feature of cryptocurrencies has been a huge advantage for criminals. They can make transactions for their criminal activities like drug dealing, weapon dealing, and other illegal goods dealing without leaving a trace. As another fact, since Bitcoin is the world's first cryptocurrency, it is known that those criminal activities were the biggest reason for their increase in the value in the very beginning. Moving on to the last ethical issue we are talking about today, the unethical centralized nature. We can look at this issue in two different ways. One is the 51% attack and the other one is the unethical governance. First, let's see what this 51% attack is. There are two types of miners in this world. These miners can get more than 50% of power in a particular cryptocurrency network as a single person or as a group of people. By getting more than 50% of power, they can influence the other users of this particular cryptocurrency network. They get some kind of power to halt a transaction that happens in the network, or maybe to reverse a previously happened transaction. This is what we call the 51% attack. Next, let's talk about unethical governance. We can divide blockchains into two categories. They are permission blockchains and permissionless blockchains. The blockchains which are controlled by a particular organization are called permission blockchains. Only the users who are permitted by the organization get to join these blockchains. But the permissionless blockchains can be accessed by any user. There are no such organizations for permissionless blockchains. The famous cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchains are considered permissionless blockchains. Even though these are permissionless blockchains, some incidents from the past have made it questionable. Are these actually permissionless blockchains? A few years back, a hacker found a vulnerability in DOA smart contracts and transferred 1/3 of their funds to his own wallet. But the Ethereum co-developers, the development team of Ethereum, decided to reverse this transaction and solve this problem. Again, after 2 years, in the same platform Ethereum, a user accidentally froze $300 million worth Ethers because of a bug in the network. So the owners of those Ethers asked the co-developers to reverse the transaction and let them take their money back. But this time, the co-developers did not agree to solve this problem by reversing the transaction. Actually, they did not give any solution to this problem. And those $300 million worth of Ethers is yet frozen in the network. No one can access those Ethers. So you see, even though this is a permissionless blockchain, we can still see some kind of an influence from the co-developers. Is Ethereum actually decentralized? This is the unethical governance of blockchain. And now we have come to the end of our video today. In this video, we talked about blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and their ethical issues. We hope that you got new knowledge about blockchain and cryptocurrencies. And feel free to add your ideas about this video and about this topic in the comment section below. Thank you and be safe.